Next report, Student Association. Introduce yourselves again.
Okay, so I'm Isis Galindo, president.
Sam Cook, secretary.
I'm Robbie Fowler, vice president.
So we are going to talk about class officer elections and executive board elections coming up for next year. Those will be taking place this coming Monday. For executive board, they will be making a speech in the main gym, all 9 contestants. And then the class officer elections will be taking place during lunches, and we will be placing a flyer up where students will be able to come up and vote for whomever they prefer to.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, definitely.
You still require kids to have their IDs to vote?
Yes.
They can remind them to bring them?
Yes.
It's my understanding a lot of kids don't have their IDs and then they can't vote.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
So how many positions are on the council?
There's 6.
There's 6 and there's 9 students running?
Yes.
Okay. And how about for the different officers in each class?
There's 6 as well, but there's 2 extra positions for elected officers. So for those who ran contested, they'll still be able to be a part of student association as a class officer.
Very good.
Yes, and as some of you guys may have heard, we are running Pop Tops for patients. We have been working with Ronald McDonald House and as a part of Loyola for roughly 10 years now. I think this is our 10th year. And we have wanted to donate 1 million Pop Tops. We have always gained about 100,000 each year. So this being our 10th year, we really decided to make a push to get the last 100,000. And we only have 17 more pounds of Pop Tops to go, which we needed 70 at the beginning of the month. So we got 20 our first week of the contest, and students will bring in their Pop Tops to the 5th hour teacher, and then we will bring them in and weigh them. So these funds will go towards the Ronald McDonald House and families who would like to stay with the patients but cannot due to monetary restrictions.
Is that at Loyola or where?
Yes, right on First and Sermon.
Okay, so prom is coming up, and a concern that we have for next year's prom is that, like for this year right now, a lot of the AP tests are the week right after prom. So like a concern that we're thinking about is for next year's prom to maybe rearrange a different date so it's not in the way of AP students testing.
Who picks the prom? Junior class?
Junior class.
And they do that with,
Their class sponsors.
and then Mr. Passarella.
Helps choose them, helps choose the date as well.
Okay.
So like a thing that we're looking at is maybe pushing it to a different date around APs.
So I would recommend leave a note to the Student Association and not only talk with Mr. Passarella, but also Ms. Smetana.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe we had talked about considering moving the AP tests. So I don't know if that works or not, but there's a lot of ideas.
I don't know what that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Those
Never
are
mind.
national
Oh,
days.
sorry.
You have to take it on that day. But,
Still new to the idea of APs and only taking one test. So.
You bring up a great point. The challenge for high schools is that every high school has the same problem, so they're all fighting for prom venues. And so some schools book the same prom venue 5 years in advance to lock in a date or whatever, because so that's where you'll be limited. If you try and move that date earlier, that's great, but you might not get your first choice of where you want the prom to be held. So once you find a date you like and a place you like, then it's wise to try and book ahead a few years. That's where it gets a little bit trickier than you believe, because you also don't want to go to a venue that's too pricey that then kids can't afford to go.
Right.
So there are a lot of considerations, but I know they worked hard to try and get it as far away, so at least they got it before, not in the middle of APs. But that's a good thing to start
Yeah.
working at.
We're gonna work it into consideration for the next years coming up.
That's a great
I
thing to
think
work
the
on.
prom usually deal with either conference track meets,
Yeah.
boys and girls softball,
Yeah.
girls soccer, water polo, so you always
Yeah.
have some group of parents that's upset because their kid can't have the whole weekend, or,
Yeah.
and then there's always getting ready for AP exams, so.
APs are very important.
I would agree, that's a good place to start.
Yeah. Well, does anyone have any other questions or concerns?
How'd the softball team do?
We lost today. Timothy Christian. So.
Sorry to hear.
So we're at the million mark for the Pop Tops?
We're getting very close.
Very close.
We're, I think, about 12,000 off.
12,000?
Yes.
Yeah.
12,000.
And so we have the rest of the month until the 29th to keep collecting to get the million.
And the class that wins, did you tell us what they get?
So we're running it through all the 5th hour classes as a competition, and the 5th hour class that has the most gets a pizza party.
Pizza will motivate students to bring their laptops, so.
Food is a very good
Yeah.
Will
motivator.
pizza motivate the board to
Teenage
get
boys.
their?
It motivates your Spirit Friday, so.
Yeah, I believe we had one student who brought in 13 pounds.
It might have been
17
17. Well,
pounds?
one of the teachers, Miss Passanani or Miss Osborne, she brought in 17 pounds. There's a big
Yeah.
garbage bag. It took a while to count.
Yeah.
Well, not count, but to put on the scales.
That's
When's
great.
this year's prom? Where is
Where is it?
Yeah.
It's International Hotel, I believe.
Intercontinental.
Hotel
Oh,
Intercontinental in
May
Rosemont.
2nd.
Yes.
it? And where's the after prom event this year? Do you still do that?
We don't.
No, we
There's
don't do
not.
that anymore.
There's no such thing as
There will
after
be
prom
no
events,
after
right?
prom.
No,
All right.
due to AP.
Due to AP, it's AP study sessions. That's
That
after
was
prom.
Wisely placed, perhaps.
How do the freshmen elect their class officers?
Yeah, so we have the flyers in front of the table, and they will go up. We will open it during lunches. Whoever's down there, for example, me, I will make a speech saying, "Oh, please come vote for your next year's class officer, class executive board," and then the class officers have the flyers, and on the flyers is all their information, their name, why they should run, organizations that they're involved in, and really their leadership. So freshmen are able to run as well. Sophomores can run, juniors can run. We open up to anyone.
But next
For
year's
next
freshmen.
year, yeah.
I'm sorry. Then next year's freshmen.
We do it at the beginning of the school
Yeah,
year.
in the begin. It's I believe the first week I believe, if not the second week of school.
The first couple
Yeah.
weeks. It's essentially the same thing as this year's. We just have to push it to the first couple weeks of next year.
Yeah.
And then they do speeches. the
Yes, they do
freshmen, So they
speeches.
can get to know, because they're coming together for the first time from different feeder schools. So they do meet in the auditorium, and I in the past have spoken to them, and Ms. Matana will, I'm sure, and then introduce it and ask them to pay attention. And then the executive board also introduces the students who are running, and they get the opportunity to say a few words about what school they came from and what their leadership experiences were. And so their officers are selected right at the beginning, so they can take off at the beginning of the year and be involved right away.
Sorry, I thought you meant how do freshmen vote this year? I said, oh. No, sure.
Any other comments, questions? Is this going to be your last presentation, or will you be back?
Do
next?
not believe so. I believe we have
We have
one
one
more.
more.
Okay. Well, thank you very
After
much.
graduation, you're gonna be all right with that?
Yes.
Robbie will be.
I'll be back here again next year. I'm running uncontested for
Okay.
Very
executive
good.
board, so.
Well, I guarantee if you got those AP dates moved, they would probably have no problem with it.
Thanks. I feel like I might not live that one down.
Good thought, good
Mike,
thought.
thanks.
Seniors, no timesheets for that meeting in May, that's volunteer, right? No, I'm just kidding. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good
Have a
night.
great one.